Alright guys, we're out for a 12-mile little jaunt to North Pole and back. Let's go.
Good morning, happy peoples. Hope you guys are doing great and wonderful and awesome. What do we got going on here today here in the good old AK? My wife, you might have seen, she ran 12 miles this morning.
And done. Load. It was very wet and blistery. I have a lot of band-aids on right now.
Hey! We did it!
We did it!
In the rain, kind of just let up for a little bit, so that's kind of fun. She's trying to prep and push, and she's sleeping on the couch right now, though. She's tired. Well, fun things going on here today. My wife wants to attempt to go collect some more fireweed. The fireweed is almost completely off of the weed, which you guys know means roughly 6 weeks till the fluffy stuff. Let's just use the word fluffy stuff. We are getting close. We went from extreme hot to we're actually like in the normal type of rain that we would have this time of year. So things have cooled down a little bit. I think we're starting to push in that direction of the thing that we all plan for every year. Yes, it's coming. What's kind of fun today is actually I'm going to bring the kids. There's a job fair that my mom invited us to. It's like a kids job fair. And we're going to go bring the kids down and kind of just go see like different type of careers and things that that maybe kids could start thinking about for their futures. So we thought it would be a little bit of fun here today to maybe dovetail into some jobs here in Alaska. You know, we share our experience here, but these are a lot of the questions that we get, and we can't always answer them, so sometimes we plug them in a video like this. Sometimes it's a little bit awkward to even ask, and some people don't even like when you start talking about money. It makes them feel a little bit awkward. So if you're one of those, just bear with us through this video here, because we do get a ton of questions. And like, you know, can you afford to live here in Alaska? You know, how much money do you make? You know, how much would a truck driver make? Or how much would a nurse make? Or how much does an electrician make? You know, how much does, you know, if you work in admin, can you make enough to be able to, because I'd love to move to Alaska, but I don't know if I can make enough money to justify it. I touch on that a little bit today because, you know, we do have employees, and we do pay them different levels depending on what they do and where they fit into our company. And then we get a lot of actually information from you guys, people that have moved here, told us. I actually started writing some of it down, just like a little mini interview, just getting intel from you guys, because a lot of you guys will actually watch us. You guys will move here, and then you'll actually give information back to us that we can relay back to all you happy people. So it's pretty cool, pretty neat. We'll into some of that maybe today, like you know, how much you make for different types of jobs, at least as best as I can. We might be able to interview some of the people at this job fair, even though it's designed for kids, but there's going to be business owners there. So we can do that from their perspective, show our perspective, and also some information from you guys that have already moved here, just to try to maybe help some of you guys out if you guys are thinking of making a move. It sounds like a lot of people are moving right now. A lot of people are moving away from kind of the big city life out to the country, maybe even as far north here as we are here in Alaska. Anyway, should be fun, should be a good time, but might be a little bit quiet. My wife's still sleeping, so we'll go, as soon as my wife wakes up, we're going to head in town and go to this job fair. We do.
Want to check it out?
All right, kids, let's get started with our careers. Daddy wants to retire.
Here's a backpack for each of you.
Whoa. That's cool.
Oh my goodness.
Right on the money.
So just set it on top?
Yeah, let's go on the back here.
Like that? Yep.
Got it.
You did it.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Do you recognize any of these vegetables over here? Have you seen any of these before? The water is for little baby chickens, little chickens.
So we're with Fairbanks Native Association. We're Johnson O'Malley. There's many of us that are placed in the different schools around the district, and we're support for students and their families.
Awesome. Cool.
Good, you?
You guys know what macaroons do?
They help people find books that they can read and borrow, and so it's due when they have to bring it back to the library.
Very good.
All right, I'm gonna go ask a couple quick questions. They're getting ready to wrap up here, but the two I want to ask is if there's a high demand for this particular field that they are showcasing, and then maybe like a rough pay range, what it might be here for Alaska.
You want to go sit in it? Cool?
Sitting here with Troy here, mechanics here in Alaska. Is there a high demand, do you feel, for mechanics here?
Yes, there is. Mechanics right now, I think everybody is hiring and looking for more people.
Question that a lot of people ask if they live in other states or countries, like what can you expect to make as a mechanic? Like what's a good pay range here?
Right now it's pretty easy. If you're a good technician, you can make a lot of money. It goes anywhere from $65,000 to $165,000.
Holy moly!
It is in demand. It depends on how fast someone is and how good they are, their skills, their tools.
And then people are paid by book time a lot of times, or salary, or how does that roughly work, I guess?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Depending on what kind of shop you go to and what someone wants. They can get paid by the hour, they can get paid by the build hour, by the book time. They can do any of that. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, thanks so much, Troy. Flight attendants, she couldn't officially tell me this on camera, but they said that demand was really high. It dropped a little bit due to COVID, and it's starting to pick back up again. And I guess it depends on how many hours you work, but roughly, I think she said the range is somewhere between 40 to 80,000 a year for being a flight attendant here.
What archaeologists do? You do?
Yeah.
What can you tell me? What is it?
They dig up bones from a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true. Archaeologists, we just study people. We do dig up bones. So people would hunt animals and leave their bones behind, but then they would also make tools out of the animal bone. It would be sort of a big knife like this.
All right, over here, Scott here, archaeologist in Alaska, right?
Yes, yeah.
So is there a demand for archaeology here?
Well, it really ebbs and flows depending on sort of construction projects. So a lot of archaeology jobs are through what we call cultural resource management. So cultural resource management is it was sort of born out of environmental laws that protect archaeological sites. So anytime there's federal or state money involved in a construction project, archaeologists have to go out and make sure that that work isn't going to destroy a really important archaeological site.
You know, I never thought about that, especially up here in Alaska.
So yeah, so times when there's a lot of projects going on, like archaeologists can be pretty high in demand, and then time it could be boom or bust in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Or like a rough price, like what someone would expect to be paid, like a range, I guess?
So for those summer jobs, you would need a bachelor's degree in archaeology or anthropology. And typically pay range between $20 to $30 an hour for those. But a lot of times that's just summer work, so then you get laid off in the winter, especially up in Alaska. But there are full-time jobs. So Sam and I, we work up at the Museum of the North here at the University of Alaska campus. But that's
what's that rough
job.
pay range if someone was able to find a full year?
Somewhere between 40 to 70,000, depending on what you're doing and how much experience you have in your education background and stuff.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
I didn't ask the electrical or the carpentry folks because we know those numbers because we have electrical and carpenters that work for us. But as an electrician, I would say here in Alaska, you're going to rearrange because there's some seasonal and there's overtime and there's bacon. There's a lot of moving parts there. But as an electrician, you'll probably make anywhere between 80 to 160. As a carpenter, you're probably around 70 to 140, somewhere in that range. And of course, there's also specialized, foremen and superintendent that go above that. But there you go. Fairbanks Police Department here. Couple quick questions, as I've been asking everybody. Are you guys hiring? Is there a high demand for law enforcement officers here in Alaska?
Yeah, there is. Across the board, as a national level, we're short officers. What's currently happening now is officers are moving from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but we're not seeing a mass influx of new officers. So, we're kind of like robbing Peter, to pay Paul kind of thing.
Yeah.
So our price range, they all differ. Ours is, we're under a contract. So we have a 20-step pay scale. They start out about $24 to $26 an hour when we go to the academy. Once you graduate there, we go up to $28. You like a sticker? And then you go into our field training program. And then once you graduate that and get out of probation, we're about $32, $33 an hour.
Okay.
For start. And then it steps up every year after that to 10, and every 2 years to 20.
Starting off somewhere around 50 then?
Yeah, it's about 55 to 58, depending on overtime.
And then what would the upper end be after, 20 years or so?
It depends on how much overtime you work, but it's somewhere around 80,000.
Gotcha.
What we get.
So,
but most of our officers somewhere around just because of the overtime. We also get shift differential. So if you work our swing shift, it starts at 3 p.m. Or if you start our mid shift, it starts at 9 p.m. There's 5% for swings and a 10% per hour for your mids.
So you're basically starting off right around 50, and then you'll be somewhere between 80 to 100 depending on overtime.
Yeah, that's generally what the most officers are.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I sure appreciate it. All right. Again, same thing with the nurse's station. She didn't know if she could officially share anything, but I think they said the range is roughly 60 to 100,000, right in that range for being a nurse here. And something that I found kind of interesting, they are of course high demand for nurses everywhere, especially here, but something I did not know is they actually have temporary assignments you can get. It's like a 3 to 6 month, I think they call them travelers, where they can just come up. People can come up either in wintertime, summertime, take a short stint as a nurse, and feel out the area and see if the hospital works for you. So that's really cool. That is awesome. It's roughly what nurses are making. Of course, you can make more, I'm sure, if you can. She just basically said there's unlimited overtime available to almost everybody, just because this is the world we're living in, right? So there we go. There's nurses.
Hi.
Dentist.
Pretty cool. Write your name, little Missy, right along there. And you're gonna brush it off now.
We're in Dr. Chang's office with my mom, Dr. Chang, and Mom. So, questions here, I guess. Hygiene. Is hygiene in high demand here as far as dental hygienists go?
Absolutely. I feel like the demand is always been high, but just with COVID, I think in general, our office is in need. Our patients have been pushed back, and so we're booked out until February, March of next year.
What?
So we're just trying to see less patients, but we just don't have enough hygiene. So they're overworked, and we need more of you, please.
If you had more hygienists, then you would be hiring them.
Absolutely. Our assistant Maya is applying right now to the UAA hygiene program. So
nice.
Hopefully she'll, once she's done, she'll come back, and we'll have another hygienist. But if you know or you're looking for a job, absolutely, please apply.
Pay range, what's a rough swing pay range?
Starting 45 to 60 is a good, just based on experience, but that demand is there, so if you're ready to work, we'll definitely pay you for it.
I'm in the wrong profession. It sounds like I need to apply.
Right?
Thank you, Dr. Chang. For all the booths, which career interests you the most?
A nurse.
Oh, the nurse. Why did you pick the nurse?
Well, just like the thought of what they do is saving people's lives and keeping them alive and helping them. I'm a people person.
That would be cool to be a nurse.
Yeah.
Lots of schooling.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get really good at it.
All the booths we went to, what stood out to you?
Oh, it's a tough one. I don't know.
Did anything stand out at all as far as something you might want to do for a career someday?
Not really.
Not really. Nothing stood out. How about you, Garrett? Anything stand out to you?
I know something stood out. The police officer one.
Maybe you could be a police officer someday.
Yeah, maybe.
Alrighty, well, we wrapped up the career day. Super fun, something kind of cool. I think it's kind of new this year. Grandma's never been a part of it before, so I think it's kind of new. They got apples and some chips and some cool goodies in their little backpack, so that was awesome. So Fairbanks Children's Museum, put this on. So a huge thank you to them being able to organize it and get it all situated and have cool booths out here. So anyway, we are gonna meander on back home. My legs are they're a little tight. My blister hanging in there. I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit more. We've had a lot of questions about jobs here in Alaska, and we thought that this would be a great tie-in with the career day and everything of trying to get you guys some information on what's here, what's offered. Hopefully we'll be able to give you a little bit more insight on that. So anyway, let's head on back home.
I burned out like a wandering ember. I shone bright, then my journey was over. What I sought when I ran was back where I began. No matter the rain, no matter the storm, I'm coming home.
All right, made it home, trying to get chores done, all these things, but appreciate you guys coming along here today. Just want to touch base on a little more job stuff here, guys. See the way the job markets work, and it's probably how it is where you are too. There's just so much fluctuation and things that have changed at Alaska Land or Pioneer Park. Alaska Land is when you're OG, that's what you call that. We were at the job fair, like that same place. If you fast forward like 2 months ago, we actually met a family at camp that said hi. They actually watched our videos. They moved to Alaska and they're getting information, and it's really cool when you guys do that. So thank you for those of you who do come up and say hi. We do appreciate that. He's a radiologist, and I was like, oh wow, okay. So radiology, like what brought you to Alaska? And according to him, he didn't talk numbers, but he said he lived in California. He moved here because he said he actually made more money here, which I found fairly fascinating. There's a higher cost of living here than California, but the housing is so much cheaper. He said that he was actually money way ahead to live here as opposed to California. I had a guy in Costco here, this is probably 3 or 4 months ago, and he was a medevac nurse. And he actually lives in Pennsylvania, and he comes up here and just works like a 2-week schedule. He said he could actually make more money here with the overtime the way it worked out as Pennsylvania. And the reason he said that is he said that there's a lot closer proximity of hospitals down the lower 48 there as opposed to here. So there's a lot more competition. Essentially, we just have less medical personnel here, and we're fairly desperate up here trying to find anybody that wants to work in the medical field. So that's a pretty solid thing. On the other scale, if you flip around to maybe more like the minimum wage and entry-level jobs, right now the minimum wage for Alaska is $10.34. Now the crazy thing is, it's $10.34, but I don't know anybody that has a minimum wage job here other than maybe, maybe some of the waitresses or whatnot that work with tips as well. But even like McDonald's or some of the fast food places here, they start right around $15 an hour just because they're trying to get people, and it's hard to find people. So I do know that. When we went to Walmart, we literally happened to notice a sign that said looking for a night stalker at Walmart that started at $18.50. So I don't know if this is fairly comparable to like where you guys are at. Maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know if it sounds like it's close. But some of the other things that we do have here in Alaska that might be different than where you are is we don't have an income tax. We also have a PFD, and our PFD last year was right around $1,000 per person that the state pays us to live here. And that is all from money generated from oil revenue, off of just the interest. If you work in the construction industry, due to our weather here, we have a real tight turnaround on construction. So a lot of construction workers will work lots of hours. They might work 60, even 70 or 80 hours a week during the summer, and will end up taking sometimes, 5 months or so off. So they'll make all their money right out the winter or try to get a part-time job in the winter. So construction can be seasonal depending on what part of construction that you are in. Other fields that have taken a bit of a hit during this whole pandemic time, one is the trucking and anything related to oil up north. So things up north have shut down quite a bit. I do know some people that actually had to close down their businesses because there's just not as much trucking business taking that Dalton Highway all the way up to the very tippy top of Alaska and Prudhoe Bay. So a lot of people are suffering from that, and they've actually transitioned into other businesses, which is quite interesting. And maybe if you guys ever want to know about like starting a business here, let me know down below. But starting a business here and the opportunities that you have here are probably a lot easier than most places in the lower 48. It's a lot of opportunity. You can do things without a whole lot of permits and do things without a whole lot of red tape here. I will say that whatever industry you are in, if you just show up and you do a good job, you will move to the very top of your bandwidth of wherever you are working. Wherever you are working, if you just show up and do a good job, you will be outstanding and you'll move up to management. And it's just, I mean, we're always looking for quality people in any area here. I really do feel you can excel by just get off your cell phone for a little bit and focus on your job and doing a good job. And I've noticed in most cases that I've noticed up here, you are rewarded for that because people are just, they're struggling trying to find good employees. Quick piece of advice too, if you guys do want to move here, try to find a job before you get here. It's pretty easy to transition, but with the weather here, guys, you want to make sure you have something at least locked down initially. Also a place to live. Right now, it's really hard to find a place to live. So trying to get some of that stuff kind of nailed down before you get here would definitely be a plus. Some of this stuff helps, guys. I don't know. It's interesting because these are all our experiences. You know, all of this is normal to us, and maybe that's not normal compared to where you are. So, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if any of this was interesting, or if you want to see anything else related to maybe starting a business here, or some of the things that go into that. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming along, being a part, and being amazing. So we will probably call it a night. And thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take it away, kids.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye, YouTube channel.
Leave open the gate. Don't turn off the light. I'm coming home. Ooh.